61-14, 34-13, 31-20, and 44-21. That was a pretty shit weekend there, boys. But there we go. That's Welsh Rugby for you. Nobody's allowed to complain about how much the WRU give us. Let's start the show. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the WRRAP podcast with me, Lee G. Joining me, as always, full crew, Jamie, Harley, and the return of the grift. Okay, yeah, you can tell James is back. He's not got any panda eyes or nothing. How are we, gentlemen?
Well, let's start with the new dad, I think.
Yeah,
I'm good. Back to work on Friday, and then back up with the little one on Saturday, and back to work this week now. I'm feeling good, boys. It's been a long couple of weeks, obviously, but I'm feeling good.
Welcome back.
That wears off, mate. That feeling good bit just kind of wears you down over 18 years, and you get to 18 and they go, I'm off to university, and you go, I'm fucked for that. And then they're gone.
But my partner did say, are you going to record? Like, are you going to take another week off? You know, the first week back at work. And I said, no, I listened to last week's pod. It was a fucking shambles. So there's no, every time I'm gone, there's no decorum. There's no, sense of camaraderie, no balance. Fucking hell, I need to get back. The boys are desperate.
Which is hilarious because it's the opposite on the WhatsApp group. You're the one who causes all the problems.
And strangely enough, last week's figures went through the roof, mate. So I don't know.
No one turns up for the Ospreys, do they?
Yeah, but to be fair, I wasn't here last week either. So I reckon it was Big M. It was Big M last week. It was his
celebrity appearance.
Yeah,
the community game of following him.
I tell you what, he's on holiday this week. Yeah, and I couldn't remember which week he was on holiday. So I sent him a message. I said, "Are you on holiday?" And he sent me a photo of himself sitting in the sun with his budgie smugglers on. And it's, it's burnt.
That's a sight for sore eyes.
Even as I'm saying it now, there's an image in my head that just won't leave me, and this cheesy grin and the big beard, and then Martin. But I love the guy, but there are some images you just don't need to see. So
only Martin would time his holiday at the end of the community game.
It was all sewn up by them, mate. It was all sewn up. Let's do drink of the week then, boys. So let's see how the last couple of weeks have affected you, James. What have you got, mate?
I have gone for a Northern Monk. It's by Northern Monk, which I believe is a Danish company. I think it is. It is called Transient, and it is 7% hazy DDH IPA. What I'm more concerned about is not the wanky bollocks and stuff like that. That's fine. It's clearly it's a Stella can with the sticker, like they just put the sticker on it. Because I thought this was printed on, but it's not a sticker, so it's clearly a Stella can. So the wanky bollocks, we've got Get Lost in Haze, a blazing hazy IPA that will take your taste buds on the ultimate trip. Craft brewed with northern pride and packed with ripe, juicy flavours, always fresh from the north. I haven't had a sip of it yet, so I'm going to have a sip of it now.
So, did you do a traditional?
That's a 7% kicking in.
Are you sure it's not one of those sour things that Jamie likes?
No, it's all right. It just wasn't what I expected it to taste like.
Did you wet the baby's head properly?
No, we haven't seen anyone at all. Like I literally, so we got messed around with the date for my partner's C-section quite a bit. So I was under the original impression that I was going to be able to go to my rugby awards evening. But they moved it to the day after. The birth was the day before. So we got home on the Friday. He was born on the Thursday, and then about half an hour later, I said, "Right, the baby's asleep. I'm going to FaceTime into the rugby awards." And so we haven't had a proper wet the baby's head yet. So I believe we're doing something soon, and I'm back in Wales in 2 weeks' time, not over half term, bringing the baby down. So I'll meet the boys to have a few IPAs there then.
Bloody inconsiderate not timing the birth of the baby in line with the end of season awards.
Well, I have been fined for not attending. I believe at the next possible opportunity, I do have to buy a jug.
It's got to be a jug of baby sham, though, James.
It's going to be a jug of lager, and I also do have to do a pint because I won an award and wasn't there to collect it.
That's fair enough. Jamie, what have you got in your fine keeping of alcohol this evening?
The latest ale from Wales Ales, I have got Mumbles Light from Mumbles Brewery. So this is it is very light. It's 3.4%. So it's not going to get you pissed. You can have a few of these and you don't have to worry. Wanky Bollocks, let's see what it says. It's a new recipe and under a new name. We made it lighter in colour, lighter in body, lighter in bitterness, and lighter in strength to give you a highly sessionable summer pale ale with a crisp flavour and a subtle blackcurrant aroma. I'm not picking up much blackcurrant, I gotta be honest, but it's perfectly fine. It's drinkable. It's not too heavy like some beers can be. So, that's Mumbles Light from the Mumbles Brewery.
You'd have thought with blackcurrant in it, it would be dark. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. For YouTube viewers, you can see it is a very light colour. It's fine. It's fine. Would I buy another one of these? No, probably not. If I saw the supermarket, but I like trying different ones.
Yeah. A weird question: is perfectly fine a Newport saying? Because Gav says it all the time, and I just thought it was something he said, but you say it a lot as well. So,
I don't know.
Perfectly fine.
Oh, you made it.
I just like the idea of perfectly fine as being like the most 5 out of 10 thing in the imaginable.
Well, we're both from the Valleys being Gavsy, so it could be a Valleys thing, couldn't it?
Yeah, so, I was thinking, it's the Charlie Atkinson of anything. Perfectly.
You've got
fine.
affinity then.
Affinity. Let's not go down that route.
What have you got, Harley?
Well, speaking of Newport, I'm doing the Jamie this week, and I've got Tiny Rebel 505.
Good choice.
In honor of the Arctic Monkeys song, one of the best set closers ever. And that's not up for discussion. The wonky box on this is we have one rule: never just make vanilla ice cream, which is a bit of dig at Swansea as well with Joe's.
I cannot speak as a former Joe's employee. I'd just like to point out.
That is quite ridiculous. So it's 6.2. Just very nice hoppy. They call it a NEPA, which I think is I don't know if they're trying to say it's a Newport IPA or a New England IPA or whatever, but it's nice. I've also got some Coke to wash it down with because 6.2%, the amount I drink these days, I'll be on the floor.
Well, I picked up one of my strangely named beers and put it in the fridge at lunchtime and didn't actually check the back of it. And then as like about an hour ago, I was going, right, okay, let's get ready for the pod. And then I looked at the back of it, given some recent experiences of drinking 8% alcohol on the pod. And this was 8.5. So I thought, bollocks to that. I'm not going to have that one. And I picked up a bottle of cider that I had lying around. So this is one I've had before. It's a Pembrokeshire cider company. It's the William Marshall cider. And the only wanky bollocks on it is that he's from Pembroke and William Marshall is from Pembroke and they make it in Pembroke. And he never actually visited Pembroke as far as I'm aware. But he gets all the credit. So so it's a nice clear cider. It is quite dry and it is quite nice. But it's a summer drink and it's just it's pissing down and it just doesn't feel right. But it's what it is. Nice. It's a nice one. So there. Right, okie dokie. Let's crack on then with some news desk, Jane. And while you're doing your news desk, we're all going to be on our phones seeing if Cardiff have actually announced it. So if we all start getting excited, it's because Cardiff have announced something while Jamie's talking. Go on, mate, you crack on.
Okay, well, let's start with the Scarlets then, shall we? So big clear out down west. Last week, the Scarlets confirmed the departure of 15 players. And that included the likes of, I'm not going to name them all because we haven't got time, quite frankly, but it's including guys such as Wyn Jones, Dan Jones, Scott Williams, Ryan Combier, and Jonathan Davis, Foxy, who at the age of 36 is not retiring. He's just looking for a new club. So it'd be very interesting to see where it ends up. That's got America or Japan all over that, isn't it? So yeah, interesting to see where Foxy ends up. Brilliant player, brilliant career. And then off the field, team manager Sarah Davis and the strength and conditioning coach Rhys Jones are also leaving, with the latter having worked with the Scarlets for 16 years. So it's a big clear out going on there. Lee, what was your reaction to the news? Anything that stands out to you in those list of names leaving the club?
Yes and no. I mean, there's some that probably should have gone a while ago. I think the one that a lot of people are shocked by is Combier. He's just, he was all singing or dancing 12 months ago and just hasn't had a look in the last 12 months. Had an all right game on the weekend. And yeah, just don't really understand that one. The rest of them, I mean, Wyn Jones is another one that people are a little bit, he's probably got the scrimmaging that we need. Has he got the all-round play? So and there's rumours going around on Facebook and social media about background stuff that I'm not going to get into for various different reasons. But we were told Christmas time it was going to be 15, and then it was slowly drip feeded. Losing Sarah, I think that's a big shock. We were told something different at the time. We were told it's a restructuring of finance and it's just going to be financed by the WRU rather than Scarlets. And then the next day she's gone, which is ridiculous. But we were also told that, Charlie Titcombe was probably leaving and he's not on that list, so he's staying. So that's a big bonus. And Leather Barrow as well. We were told Leather Barrow was probably leaving and he's not on that list. And we were told Lousey's going. We were told, Craig was going. So, there's names that were kind of expected that are staying. So it is what it is. We'll see what comes next season, to be honest.
Okay. Moving on to the Ospreys then. Bad news for the Ospreys and Wales as Lock. Adam Beard is set to miss Wales this summer matches because of an ankle injury. Toby Booth said he fell out of a line-out and hurt his ankle. I can't see him playing for the rest of the season and it will be difficult for him to tour this summer. I know we've always spoke about Adam Beard, being a Marmite player, but for me, that's a big blow for Wales on the summer tours. Big blow for Ospreys as well, of course, but he's highly rated as far as I'm concerned. I think he's a really good player.
He does need a rest.
Disappointing news.
There is
that as well.
He hasn't stopped playing rugby probably non-stop since the start of the 2021 season, because he toured of the Lions, then straight into Ospreys. He barely missed a game for Wales. He is a Marmite player. Obviously, the Facebook have been loving it. What does he bring and all that. But it is a huge, huge loss for us in a position we're already short in because we've got so many second row injuries.
Yeah,
I could still see Gavin taking him anyway.
Well, even though he's injured, he's ruled out.
He took him when his appendix literally exploded.
In Japan,
Gatlin loves him. Gatlin will have
true.
him just so he can cuddle him at night. He's the son he never want. It's the son he wanted as opposed to the son he got.
It's not Bryn.
But yeah, anyway,
Poor
so
Bryn.
Beard is likely out for the season. And then today, Ospreys have announced winger/centre Tom Florence. He signed a new deal. The 21-year-old has made 11 appearances for Wales under-20s and featured in 3 separate Six Nations championships. So yeah, good news for the Ospreys there, keeping hold of their young talent.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Cardiff then. 7-story Rory. I'm sorry, I gotta say this, right? I spoke about this on the group. What is it with Cardiff for their supporters and fucking cringy nicknames for players? It's so cringe, isn't it? 7-story Rory. So yeah, Cardiff have
Dragons players and
re-signed
cringy performances.
I'd rather cringy performances than awful nicknames
I
that you're
wouldn't.
coming out with. It's really, really bad.
Okay.
But excuse me, who's lost 10 in a row? I mean, that's Dragons form right there, Harley.
So given that Jamie's brought up just how bad nicknames can be, I think we all need to ask our social media followers for a nickname for Jamie for next week, and it's got to be as equally cringy as 7-story Maury. So
nothing will be as cringy as that.
Nothing will be. There's not. the lane train left the station genuinely.
Lane train,
like,
yeah.
It took years off my life reading that sentence. Like, I honestly, I'm not Owen Lane's biggest fan, right? But poor sod, like if he's and he's Welsh as well. That train didn't even leave on time, bless him.
Go on, Jay.
The worst thing is I
Jared.
support Bristol as well, so I get it twice because they've got Rich Lane, who they call the lane train.
Oh, of course, yeah. What other ones? Jinkin Jared, Hot Stepper. That's Willis Halahola.
I mean, that's a
ones,
fair
Harley?
description of Halahola when he was fully fit.
Nip-
and
That's
firing.
not bad.
Nipper was fine. I didn't mind Nipper. Nipper got originated
Nipper?
from Ospreys. I
Oh,
didn't mind
okay.
Nipper. That was an Ospreys nickname.
Alice
Who else
Jenkins
we
is
got?
nicknamed Simba.
Again, not cringy. 7-story Rory's like a fucking wrestling heel.
Oh, it's fucking awful.
That's late.
It's
That's
bad.
late stage WCW. That is. That's like fucking Eric Bischoff booking.
What's Thomas Young's? He must
Doesn't
have
really
one.
have one.
Dice
Just Thomas
Lloyd.
Yeah.
No, he's
Young.
fine.
Doze lad, yeah, I suppose.
It's
It's
got
not
to
bad
be-
as Paul Lewis
slightly
Jones,
more
bless
endearing
him.
than Derwin's boy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was bad as Lewis Jones, who has two nicknames, his Derwin's son and Cyclops.
In other
Anyway.
Cardiff news then, anyway, Kieran Parker, he's going to retire from rugby at the end of the season to pursue a career outside the sport. So the tight end has played 6 times so far for Cardiff after arriving last summer. That was a bit out of the blue, Harley, or was you expecting that one?
No. That was very good.
It was, wasn't it?
You asked.
No. Yeah, just I mean, I just feel like it was. I don't know who was it who went up to. I think it might have been Hugh who said, "Did Kieran Parker have like the ultimate Cardiff season? Like, turns up, gets red carded for nearly killing a guy, and then retires." The only
There's
thing I
boxers
think
who
of is
retire after
he's
1-0,
fed up
isn't
of
there?
dicking around, and Cardiff didn't want to offer him another contract, and he just went, "Ah, fuck it." I feel like what happened
But
with me in
he-
academia. I got
he
fed up
never
with
did
chasing around
anything-
contracts.
He never did anything to warrant a contract for me.
No,
Like, he was
to,
below average.
to use the Gwent Valley's expression, he was perfectly fine.
Okay, so that's the Cardiff news then. Just a little bit of Dragons news. So Dragons are dominating the news in the past couple of weeks. Just a little bit of news then. So
There we
they've
go.
appointed a key member. I'm sorry, James, you've got to suck this up now. Dragons, no, it's not for your tier either. They've appointed a key member of Gatland's backroom team as the new head of performance. So Dr. Ryan Chambers, who is currently head of sports science with the WRU, has been employed by them for the past 15 years. He's going to join the Dragons this summer, and he will be replacing Dan Bow, who of course is leaving to link up with the Georgian national team. And then my final bit of news, Welsh Premiership final. So Llandovery made it back-to-back titles after edging out Newport 14-7 in the Welsh Premiership final at Churchbank on Saturday. Really good game this, by the way. Commiserations to Newport, who've had a fine season. Ty Morris's men have won. Well, they did win 15 matches in a row before this final, but they couldn't quite get over the finishing line against a strong Llandovery side. So, very entertaining game. Congratulations to Llandovery on another well-deserved title win.
The EDC is looking quite good for next season, apparently.
Mm.
So, right. So let's say we're all quite happy now. Jamie's giving us some good news. We've had some cheery bits. There's people coming in, and now we got to discuss last weekend.
Yeah.
Here we go. Right.
Another
Jay.
sobering weekend for Welsh Rugby, wasn't there?
Wish I wasn't sober for it.
James must be sitting there going like, maybe I can stretch the whole paternity thing for another week and just ignore rugby for another week.
I was considering.
We should be used to this. We should be used to this now, shouldn't we, though, these weekends? Yeah.
So starters on Friday night then, Jamie, Dragons and Soap. I mean, it was a lovely night. Let's start with that.
It
It was
was.
a lovely night, wasn't it? Let's go down.
It was a beautiful night.
Mm.
Well, the first thing I want to say, I want to give a shout out to Brock Harris. So Brock joined us on the Dragons Leopold. I did a bonus podcast with him, and he was talking to me from the Stormers Team Hotel in Cardiff. And what a nice guy. Genuinely lovely bloke. We had a good chat before and after we recorded. Just a really nice guy. Great chat. yeah, so I want to thank him for coming on, giving up his time. He had long just finished his captain's run and he jumped on and yeah, it was a really interesting chat, just talking about his upbringing, his career. He talked about the differences between scrummaging and the loose and the tight, talked a little bit about the Stormers. So it was a really good chat. I really enjoyed it. And he was a bloody nice bloke. So thank you to Rob for joining me last week. In terms of this game then, Stormers head coach John Dobson said the final scoreline was probably one of the most unfair ones I've seen in rugby. And he is 100% right, because that scoreline does not tell the full story. So if you hadn't watched this game, but you just saw the score pop up on your phone, on Twitter, wherever, you look and go, oh, well, that's the result that's expected because the Stormers won by 20 plus points. That's what a lot of people had them down to win by. You just think, well, yeah, fine. But like I said, that doesn't tell the full story. So I actually thought Dragons, for large parts of this game, forced the Stormers into making a lot of errors. We were the better team in our first half. You know, we had 72% possession and 77% territory. And yet going into half-time, we was only winning by 1 point, which is pretty disappointing because I felt that O'Donnell should have had more points on the board. But an error from Will Reid, who failed to collect an up and under, led to their first try. It was a lovely kick from Gallant, by the way, to set it up, but it came from an error. And it came out of the blue, that try, because in our first half, the Stormers didn't really fire a shot. We was well on top. But like I said, going into the game just 1 point ahead, into half-time, maybe going into half-time just 1 point ahead, it felt a little bit unjust. But the second half, I mean, Stormers were much better. You know, they came out and they started to play with a lot more energy and tempo, but we stuck at it, and you know, we were leading. In our final quarter, the Dragons were 21-16 up. And Aaron Wainwright was doing Aaron Wainwright things. He was outstanding again. He's my player of the season, Aaron Wainwright. I think he's been absolutely outstanding, led the charge yet again for the Dragons. Harry Keddy worked incredibly hard, with a really good shift. I thought Rodri Jones was excellent. It's no coincidence that when he went off, our scrum went to shit, which I'll talk about in a bit. But I thought he had a very strong scrummaging performance. Dane Blacker was pretty good. I mean, like, I know Dane Blacker hasn't set the world alight since moving to the Dragons from Scarlets, but he had a really good game against Connacht, and he had a really good game against the Stormers. So he's had 2 really good games now in a row, and I think that he will progress and get better. But yeah, it was a good performance from him, and you know, the Dragons went toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the URC. But that game, unfortunately, like a lot of games this season for the Dragons, it was lost in the last 10 minutes. And I don't know what that's down to. I don't know if it's fitness or mentality, but the last 10 minutes is where it really goes tits up for the Dragons. So Rodrigo Martinez gets a yellow card for persistent scrum offences. And I have to say, by the way, I was really disappointed with Martinez because he is a pretty decent scrummager. But when he came off the bench, that's all he did was just give away scrum penalties. But Chris Butterby warned him several times. And then he had no choice but to send him off. So I was pretty disappointed with that. And then Angus O'Brien comes off the bench. Great to see him back, making his return from injury. And then he gets taken off injured. So that reforces then, you know, we have to reshuffle our backline. So we got Steffi, who's playing a fly half. Then we got Seal Tomlinson moving into midfield. And then we got our scrum half, Dane Blacker, on the wing. And then we bring on Morgan Lloyd to make it his senior debut. So it was a disjointed backline. And of course, we have to play the game with 14 men. The rest of the game, that 10 minutes with 14 men. And oh boy, did the Stormers punish it. You know, they scored 3 tries in the last 8 minutes. And it's a shame, really, because that made the scoreline look far worse than what it should have been. And it doesn't do the Dragons justice. But look, you know, there were plenty of positives to take from that game. I do think it was probably the best Welsh performance this weekend. And the Dragons need to lick their wounds now and go on to Swansea, where they got a Welsh derby to look forward to. But yeah, positives, but you know, same old frustrations in terms of game management, particularly in the last quarter of the game. I read a stat on the weekend that said the Dragons have led in the last quarter of 6 games, but they've only won 3 of them. You know, so like I said, I don't know if that's mentality or fitness, but that's something that needs to be addressed. They've got to start putting in 80-minute performances, or they're just going to keep losing week in, week out. But yes, a positive performance, but unfortunately, no reward from it.
So, from that team on Friday, I mean, people probably heard what Cuthbert had to say about Tia coming in and as defence coach next, and basically kicking people out and what have you. Well, what do you make of that with that team from last Friday, Jim? Was there players on that pitch that just don't deserve to be there, or how are you reading it?
I think Dragons have a core of players, and Chris Kerwin from the South Wales Argus, we talked about this on the Dragons Layer pod. The Dragons have a core of players that probably are not URC standard, and I would argue that we've been loyal to certain players who we probably should have let go, a couple of years ago. And I'm not going to name names on this podcast. I'm not going to do it on Dragons. I'm not calling players out. But I think we all know there's certain players. You look at the team, you can pick 1 or 2 out from Friday, and you look at the Dragon squad as a whole, and you go, so I'm not going to name names, but you look at the guy, you think, would he get into any other team in the URC? Probably not. I think some of our guys are Welsh Premiership standard. But I don't disagree with what Cuthbert said. Though I would say, I don't see how Tia is just going to kick people out, because at the end of the day, Di Flanagan's the head coach. But I actually think Phil Tia is going to. He's not just coming in as defence coach. I think he's going to take on a lot of responsibility. I think he's clearly there to support Di, because Di has talked about having someone experienced to lean on. But it wouldn't surprise me if Phil Tia ends up making a lot of, calling a lot of shots. So don't be surprised. I think he's going to go there, change the culture, and I think Di will lean heavily on him. And if it does go tits up with Di, and he's not getting results, I wouldn't be surprised if they say, okay, make Phil Tia head coach, because he's got that experience, as we know. But I don't disagree with Cuthbert. Yeah, I think he makes a fair point. Yeah, I think some players are at the Dragons for the wrong reasons, as he said. But it's just how it is. I think all 4 teams are probably carrying players who we think, yeah, you're not quite good enough, mate. But with budget restrictions and everything else and depth, I guess we got to keep hold of those players, haven't we?
Yeah, you better having somebody in rather than an empty space.
With the Tia thing, right? Obviously, I didn't get my chance to fucking rant about this last week, you bastards. I am a big I hate rugby's obsession with the old school, right? Is that these players have no bottle anymore, or bring back Ruckin and all that bollocks, right? It fucking does my head in, right? And unfortunately, rugby punditry is still dominated by leading rugby figures or people who talk about rugby, right? Exactly like that. But there is something to be said for having someone like Philo Tia in your system. Is that not? That's not necessarily he's going to go out and saying, right, you're going to kill some fucker today. Jamie and I were talking in the WRRAP chat earlier about the Dragons Ospreys game last year, where Di Flan had said to his players that Ospreys got a young 10 out in Jack Walsh. Go out, pressure him, let him know you're there. The classic Sunday League thing, or Saturday League rugby, where you're first hit, boys. Let them know you're there. All that, and the Dragons players, particularly Fairbrother, Moriarty, and Tompkinson, took that as let's kill this poor Australian boy, and subjected him to physical torture. But there is something to be said about that when you have a character like Tia in, Sean Holly said in comms that, if you can keep Jerry Collins in check, then you're doing something right. There is a case of having that, not old school, but having that grit, that, and I can't ever imagine Di Flanagan shouting, let alone getting angry. So having someone like Tia, someone having like Tia there, who's basically like his enforcer, it can only be a good thing, which he probably was. Di Flan was at the Ospreys when Philo was there.
I can imagine Di Flanagan maybe looking somebody straight in the eye and then bringing his glasses down to the end of his nose and looking at them over the top of his glasses. I think that's about that's about as angry as Di Flanagan's going to get.
I'd say I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
I'm just disappointed.
That's what he says to the players after every game.
He just looks like he leaves like angry TripAdvisor reviews. Like that's the extent of his anger. So I think Cuthbert is right, but I do think that he will bring a culture of you're going to die for this badge or you're not going to wear it, because that's essentially what he did at the Ospreys when he was when he was a player. He was 36 when he joined the Ospreys, right? And he left there, a cult hero for a reason, but he had the attitude of you are going to die for this badge or you're not going to wear it.
exactly what the Dragons need. I think he's a guy that will command respect in that dressing room. So let's see how it goes. I am optimistic.
Yeah.
It's a very good appointment, but
Okay.
see what happens.
So next game over the weekend was Scarlets and Ulster. I thought we made steps again. Small steps forward again. I thought Tuipulotu came back and actually showed a little bit of the promise that he started to show last season. We were missing a couple of big names who we've relied on a lot this season. Alex Craig, Big Sam. There were some big names out, and actually the boys that stepped in actually did very well. That first half, Ulster just didn't look like getting anywhere near. They certainly weren't getting close to beating us the way they did in that first half. So I counted 3 clear opportunities today where we should have actually put a better try on. If we'd held a bit of cool head and actually looked at what the right option was, we basically took the wrong action. And if we'd have taken the right option, then the chances are we'd have been in for at least 2 or 3 tries. But we've been slow to get off the mark. We've been slow to finish games. The first 20, the last 20 have been where we've been awful for most of the season. We played the first 40 superbly. We didn't concede in the last 15. So, there were 2 yellow cards, 2 stupid yellow cards. I'm still not 100% on that Gareth Davis one. It didn't look purposeful. You've got to slow that down a hell of a lot. Now, I know what you're going to say.
No.
You've got to slow it. You'll get your chance on the Ospreys in a minute.
Partly agree with you. No, I partly agree with you. Is what I'm going to say.
Fucking hell.
Is I agree with you in that. If I'm of the thing that trips are a weird one, because James Ratty had one against Ulster earlier in the season where I was like, "Ooh, you've had to slow that down quite a bit to see whether he stuck his leg out first, then his arms." But it's clearly, ultimately, if you put yourself in that position, you run that risk.
Well, when you look at it, he runs from behind the referee. He's coming at Gareth Davis. The line he's running at happens to be, behind the referee. So Gareth Davis sees him really, really late. He's not in a position to tackle him, and he runs straight through him and he trips over it. I didn't say he trips him. I'd say he trips over him. I'd say it's a penalty, and that's about as much as it goes. But it is what it is. There were some stupid penalties that we gave away. We've given away stupid penalties in there, 22. That is like going back to last season. That we're just, there's nobody grabbing it by the bollocks and saying this is what we're going to do. So,
guys, can I completely stop you for a second? Neath RFC has just put out an announcement. It's breaking news right now.
Right.
Oh God!
After our amazing end of season party, we are looking to make further improvements to our grounds and facilities. Our gym, recovery centre, and change rooms have been updated. The Ospreys won't be playing at our ground next season or thereafter. This was after representatives from both clubs have met. We wish Swansea and Bridgend all the best in securing that contract when Ospreys CEO Lance Bradley makes his long-anticipated announcement. Instead, we will focus on growing Neath RFC and the Panthers as our illustrious clubs, hosting an Elite Sevens tournament as a prestigious rugby events, as well as music and food festivals, family events such as Christmas light switch on and Neath fireworks, to contribute to the success of Neath RFC and enliven our town. It really is all happening at Neath RFC. Fuck me.
Do you know what I like about this announcement? Because I'm looking at
I know exactly what you're going to say.
There's a big red cross on the Ospreys logo. So they got the Ospreys logo next to Leaf, and they big red cross right from the logo. Brilliant. That's basically you saying "fuck you, Ospreys."
Anyway, back to stuff that actually matters. So I agree with you, Lee. Scarlets look like they're getting better, but they were looking better this time last year. What's going to stop them just going to complete the shit in the off-season again?
Yeah, and that was our argument at the start of the season. We had 3 warm-up games where we didn't put any of our senior team players at all in our warm-up games. So for about 7 players, I think we counted it at the time, 7 players, their first warm-up game was URC kickoff, and not Welsh players, not Welsh squad players or international squad players. It just didn't make sense. So yeah, we're improving and improving and improving. The problem is that we take a step down over the summer and we've got to start improving again. And yeah, it's frustrating, but there were plenty of sides. I thought Johan Nicholas, there were a couple of breaks that Johan Nicholas made, and you're just like
very underrated player, Johan Nicholas. I like him a lot, I do.
And I think I'd like to see him stay at fullback. I think he's a utility back, so he plays everywhere. But I'd like to see him stick at fullback, just because he was, he's really starting to find his feet there. So yeah,
Tupolatu carried well. I gotta say though, how dull was Tane Plumtree's yellow card? Because I thought Plumtree actually had a decent goal.
Yeah,
it was so cynical and dull. Like playing the ball on the floor like that, you will never get away with it. And not only that, Warren Gatland's in the stands. Like he's trying to impress him now. He's just back from injury. He's get on that tour to Australia, and he did that. I thought, how dull, mate. Especially when Gatland watching,
And the thing is he'd had like 3 or 4 decent runs where he's coming at pace. He's taking players out. He's taking 3 or 4 players down with him. He's creating space, and you go like, that's what I want from a big six. He's competitive over the top of the ball. He's competitive in a line-out, and then he just goes and does something stupid. It's very frustrating. But that's where we need somebody like Ken Owens, like Jonathan Davis, with a bit more experience and a bit of nous to say, right, boys, calm it, put the foot in it for 5 minutes, slow it down, and let's just do something different. But
that's leadership, isn't it? That's what me and Gavin constantly talk about on Dragons here, the lack of leadership.
It's
need those
what we're
guys.
missing. Yeah. So talking of lack of leadership, Lions and Cardiff. Off you go, Harley.
All right, what can I say that I haven't said already this season?
Cardiff won.
I said that this season. Don't forget we're in the League of the Dragons, so we've always got 2 wins in the eye.
Go on, then.
And I mean, as I'm looking at it, one half of the screen has beaten the Stormers, the other half haven't.
Second string Stormers were absolute dog shit. But yeah, go on, carry on.
Don't matter. You still.
It was second string though. It was nowhere near first team squad. Well, anyway, go on.
Don't matter. You still got to beat them. If you'd beaten that second string Stormers team, you'd be
get on with it. Fucking hell.
The only surprise, literally, the only surprise positive was somehow we were all right at the scrum.
Yes, scrum went well, didn't it?
Yeah, that was that. I mean, that was probably the only real positive. Unfortunately, our team is to be got massively outkicked. There's no other real support. I mean, Cam Winnett was imperious, but I mean, I'll be honest, I say that every week, and it's always true. I thought Ellis Bevan was very good when he came on the second half. I thought that was a tactical thing, but it turned out Gonzalo Bertrand failed a HIA, which is really worrying, as we only took 2 scrum halves out. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully you might be doing a Scots and calling Mike Phillips up mid-tour. Get him a cap for Cardiff. I'll be honest, it was just really lackluster. There was no real execution. I had a look. Can any of you guys guess how many teams from the top 4 men's leagues scored fewer points than Cardiff this weekend? So top 4 being Prem, top 14, URC, and Super Rugby.
I can't remember how many points you scored on the weekend.
13.
Go on.
It's going to be a French team.
Nope, no French team.
No, okay.
Connacht got 12.
Oh, yeah, Connacht.
Gloucester got nilled tonight, which frankly is even more embarrassing. And then Moana Pacifica and the Drua, who scored 10 and 5 points respectively.
Oh, yeah.
Drua might have scored 7, sorry. But either way, that's pretty fucking shoddy. For a team that's supposed to be attacking sexy UA rugby, our attack is woeful. And we've been trying to sort of say, oh, well, they've got to get used to the new system, get new combinations. But we've had a lot of time with it, and we're just so bloody stupid. I think part of the problem is, when you make a mistake and then you've got to try and make up for it, and then it ends up getting worse and worse and worse. There's a bit of that. So, even like in the last 10 minutes or so when we went out of a try, Tasuka scored from the rolling ball. And then we get a penalty, and we've got 8 minutes to go. We've still got plenty of time to score once, score twice to give us a shout. And we go for the quick tap. We get isolated, and then as the Lions players are rushing back and the ref's called, yeah, it's all fine, so go for it. He just comes and dislodges the ball, and then Shuka scores again down the other end. Because we just weren't patient, and we were just trying to push things constantly, and it's just getting really fucking tiring talking about it. All the talk of us, we went away to Munster and Ulster and Glasgow, got picked up points. We haven't picked up points since. We haven't won since Boxing Day, of which a game is such an outlier. If you take that game out of our statistics for the season, we lose half a try a game and 5 points. But that's how much an outlier that Boxing Day game was. And it's just gonna really fucking piss me off, to be honest.
So
Cam Winnett was good
lost as well.
I thought Cam Winnett was good.
Yeah, Cam Winnett is
Best player,
fantastic every day. He looks so much better than most big players on the park, whichever team he plays. It's
That's one
and
positive anyway.
Imperious. But it's just getting really frustrating that we're scoring a handful of points a game when we should be scoring more. We have the opportunity to score more. We don't take them. You get some good performances from people. I thought Mackenzie Martin, when he was on, played quite well, and Alan Lawrence, but they can't do it all.
Alan Lawrence looked good. I thought
Alan Lawrence he looks like a man with a point to prove, and I was quite impressed.
Yeah, he very much fits in that Johan Nicholas category of he's not good enough to be like up here, but he's way better than like Welsh Premiership standards. He just sort of sits in the middle.
Yeah.
So
the thing is,
solid regional
you've got to
player.
appreciate some good, solid.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Yeah, something to be said for those
they're the
players.
backbone. I thought Steph Hughes at Scarlets was a perfect example of that. Would do the job and would never let you down. Nicholas is doing it now. I actually thought Dan Evans was that sort of player as well.
Dan Evans was good enough to play for Wales. At his peak, he was the best player in the fucking league.
No, he fucking wasn't.
Steph Evans fucked it up with his haircut, mate. So the less said about Steph Evans and his haircut nowadays, the better. So safe to say you didn't enjoy that game on the weekend, then?
No, I mean it didn't help. It coincided with a teething baby with a horrific nappy rash, screaming at me constantly. So I had to deal with that. And then, so not only did I have to know that we'd gotten beaten, because it was actually quite close up until the last 10 minutes. Then 2 quick tries, and we're out of it. I had to watch it back to see this.
You boys and you young dads and the baby's doing this, the baby's doing that. You think you got problem? My tomatoes haven't come this year. Yeah, I got no tomatoes in the potting shed at all. You think you got problems? I spent all day Sunday repotting rotten tomatoes. You boys got nothing with my baby's got a.
It's not quite the same, though, Lee. It's a bit of a
but the thing is, the tomatoes
babies
are because you're
I'm so glad I'm out of that phase. I remember, like, anytime anyone says about it now, I look back and I go, yeah, nobody gave a shit when I was going through it, so you're fucking not having any either. James, let's talk about the highlight of the weekend and Leinster Ospreys, mate. Because to be fair, half-time, you weren't out of the game. Even with 20 minutes to go, you were still in the game. And then the floodgates opened. So
it's tough. It's tough. There's we got Leinster. There's no, we're just really unlucky that because they picked up no points from South Africa, they are having. I say it as if it's a fucking plight on them. They're having to play their good team, because they couldn't secure a top spot. They are trying to maximise their points by playing their, island players, which is great. Good on them. I'm glad that they're in a position to do that. It's really fucking daunting as a team when you're in it, and then they're like, "Yeah, right, we're going to bring on Dan Sheehan, Jack Conan, James Gibson Park, Charlie Natter." Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just what can you do? And we look tired. We
It's not
looked
fair. And it's not a
tired.
level playing field.
And we, and I've sort of been saving this, right? But Hugh Griffin said to me at the start of the season, he said, it's not fair to compare the Scarlets to the rest of the regions, right? Because they had to go their 2-tour thing to South Africa, and then they went straight down to Leinster then. Over 3 games. We've just done the exact same thing.
And done the same as what we did.
And we did it in a slightly different order. We won out in Cape Town, and then Ospreys have never conceded 60 points in their history, and we've done it 2 weeks in a row. And it's not down to the defensive system. Is it down to the person? I think it's just that we're so tired. We've got 10 players, I think, on 1,000 minutes now, and 15 on 800 plus. We've got no second rows left. We just look absolutely fucking knackered. And you've been away from home for 3 weeks, and it is tough. And look, these sound like excuses, and they probably are. But at the end of the day, we got beaten by a team with a vastly bigger budget, who are going to bring out a vast different amounts of quality. They'll learn from that. We were inaccurate when we did have the ball, especially in the second half. And I tweeted out saying, that's what Leinster do. They will smother you and kill you on transition. That's exactly what they do. And there were glimpses of good things. I thought on the whole, Nagy was good. He's getting back to where he was. Great going forward. Probably a bit slow on the turn. Let's hope he doesn't use Sage, because Brian Habana will have a field day with them. But again, he's a player that's developing his game. I thought Dan Edwards on the whole was great. He sets up, tried that kick across for Luke Morgan when that disgusting tackle in the air. Should be jailed for that.
Disgusting tackle. Wasn't that?
Is he your number one? Is he your number one try scorer so far this season?
Penalty try,
Mr. Penalty, yeah.
Damn, I need to be probably up there.
Then he scores an own try, bastard.
Yeah. So yeah. Look, I don't know what else I can say. I genuinely don't know what I can say that to Ospreys fans that 60 points is not good enough. That I know that, but there is contextual reasons behind it, and we can go there. What I have learned this weekend is that Leinster fans are the softest fucking people on earth. You cannot say anything about Leinster fans without them getting a pissy fit. Oh my God.
What have you said now?
I haven't said anything.
Have I got to speak to my friend the solicitor again?
No, me and Robbie had some great banter with them when the team sheets came out, and a lot of that was light-hearted. And then someone, like Murray Kinsella, tweeted out his general set of gifts that he does on the weekend, and then one of them was about Caelan Doris kicking the ball out of Ruben Morgan-Williams' hand in a ruck, which is by law is a clear penalty and probably a yellow card.
Oh, yeah, the ball got kicked out of your hands.
Yeah,
that never happens to any other team.
You've triggered Harley now, mate.
It's dark arts. You know what I mean? And I thought he shouldn't have got pinged for it. And he was asked multiple times in that same ruck not to go near the ball, not to kick the ball. And then he does it, and it's given as a scrum to Leinster, which I think they go and score from. But that gets pointed out on Twitter, and even Andy Good, right, who I had to agree with this morning. I felt sick and had to wash myself. But Leinster fans then are just the softest as ever, and like, oh yes, this never happens to any other team. Tweeted from their gold barbs.
The thing is, right, is you can look at all 4 games over the season, over the weekend, right, and
we'll talk about your wins now, Lee.
No, we talk about how. So Hugh said a couple of weeks ago about it's set in a referee's mind. Yeah, so Leinster's first try against you was forward pass. There was a try against us where, like 2 or 3 phases before, there was a forward pass. There was one of the tries against you, Harley, was there was a knock on. It looked like a knock on in a ruck before. So a couple of phases before. And I can pretty much guarantee, Jamie, there would have been something in your game as well where, it was a 50-50 decision. And referees aren't even stopping to go, oh, hang on, was that forward? The one in the Scarlets game, he passes the ball one side of the 15. You can't even see the 10-yard line. You can't even see the 10-yard line in the screen when he passes it, and the guy catches it over the 10-yard line. Well, he was on the 15. So, it's a good 4 or 5 meters forward and fairly obvious because there's a line on the pitch and it's just not given. On yours, he was inside the 22 and he passed it from inside the 22 to outside the 22. There's a fucking white line on the pitch, ref. And it shows you, it's not about, was his hands moving backwards and all of this kind of stuff. He was inside the 22 when he left the ball. He was outside the 22 when he caught the ball. Whichever way you look at it, that's a forward pass. So
best teams get away with it, though, don't they? They always get away with the dark arts. That's the problem.
That's what I'm saying.
Reffing on reputation. I talked about it when we played the Bulls. We had a lot of harsh calls go against us.
Yep.
And it's the same whenever the Dragons play. We always reffed on reputation. But the best teams like your Leinsters and your All Blacks, they get away with the dark arts. Because I guarantee you, that incident that happened, kicking the ball at scrum. So if that happened down Ronnie Parade and the Dragons did it, they clear yellow card. We'd be got. The Dragons can't get away with shit like that. They wouldn't be smart enough to do it either, but they would not get away with it. But your Leinsters and your top teams in the league, they get away with it every time.
Every time.
Is this like when Nicky Smith scrummed a bit like not straight and Lee had a meltdown? Is that like that?
Nicky Smith doesn't know how to go straight, mate. Right, let's move on to previews for this weekend.
Cardiff, absolute.
Oh, new signing alert.
No, what now? Cardiff have announced.
Cardiff have signed Ewan Stevens from Newcastle Falcons, who I wanted. Absolute bastards.
Yeah. So you go. They're from Newcastle.
He's sort his lid out.
Ewan Stevens.
That's my initial thoughts. I'll discuss more on Cardiff Central podcast as we're on previews now.
Harley, quick reaction to that. Start reaction to that news.
He needs to sort his lid out because it's Steph Evans levels of shit.
It is, isn't it?
Player wise, good acquisition, or how do you feel
I'll be honest, because of TNT Sports policies on broadcasting games, I've seen fuck all.
You know what?
No idea.
I can give you some stats about Ewan Stevens. Welsh qualified former rugby league player who's been doing amazing work in underperforming.
Martin Lewis could be my DM.
In fact, both Stevens and Adam Radwan have been on fire despite the general lack of success. Shane Williams' vibes, but more powerfully built, has created a turnover in 20% of the tackles he makes. Goes incredibly well when given any space from kicks and works really well along someone like Adam Radwan who can create holes. Do you know who that was from?
Is that the Sam
Lana who created that thread for me?
Right.
I've told you he's a secret Cardiff fan.
Let's move on to previews for this weekend. So we leave Ospreys Dragons till last, boys. We won't do it necessarily in order. So Sharks and Cardiff, Harley, chance that they're going to be holding players back for cup finals, maybe? We said that when we played the week before the semi-finals.
So, maybe they want to send them all off for a week to acclimatise to London again. And if that happens, then maybe we have a chance. But honestly, I don't see it. I don't know. And, I said we've got one fit scrum half. We haven't even taken our, ultra emergency backup scrum half in Ellis Jenkins. He stayed at home. I just foresee pain. There's a reason reason for the audio listeners. My name on the thing is I've named this to Shark Chum RFC because I feel like that's what's going to happen.
I think we found that the title for this week's podcast, boys, is I foresee pain. So we'll do some really quick stuff and then we'll come back and do predictions in a minute, Harley. Okay, so
why are we starting in reverse order?
Because I like mixing things up. We're not doing in reverse order because now we're going to do Zebra Scarlet and then we're going to do Ospreys Dragon and then we're going to do predictions. Some of us have got stuff in their head, man. Calm down.
Yeah, but I'm worried what's in your head, mate.
You don't want to know what's in my head, mate.
It's like Martin and his milkman.
Okay. Right, Zebra Scarlet. We've made life really difficult for ourselves on this one because we should have beaten the Sharks. We got to take something out of this game. We have to take something out of this game. Come hell or high water, we just got to come away with something. I'm all in favour of, yeah, that was a good performance. Let's have a better performance and keep improving and stuff. But fuck me, we need to come away with a win. So I don't care how we do it. We just need a win on that one. So let's look at Ospreys Dragons, because I'm going to enjoy this one because James is shitting himself about this like he would not.
He
believe.
probably isn't. He probably isn't.
He is, mate. Trust me, he is.
I was on our chat earlier in the Irie one, and Lee's in there for some reason. I'm going to kick him out of it eventually.
You'll have our job.
I'll just make a new one so I can freely talk about the Scarlets. And I just I said, why do I have a horrible feeling about Saturday? And even yesterday, it was like, it should be the end of season throwback. We run into a few tries and make the Dragons look shit, but it just stings at the minute. I said I am deflated. I wasn't a bad. I had a really bad meeting this morning. I was a bit better after I saw that Di Flanagan quote saying I want to upset the Ospreys. I was like, right.
But what's wrong with that? What do you expect him to say? He's not going to come out and go, well, the Ospreys do quite well, actually. If we do well, then that'd be nice.
They need a bonus point against us. We'll just roll over and let them go.
He wants to win. How dare Di wants to win a game?
The specky bastard blindsided us.
So, Jamie, what are you making of Dragons and Ospreys? Are you as confident with the Dragons as James is?
Absolutely not. So, Will Reid is our only fit and available fly half for this game because Angus O'Brien limped off against the Stormers. Kai Evans is out because he broke a bone in the shin. So, as things stand, we want to go one fit fly half, and that's going to be Will Reid. Ryan Woodburn and Dan Lydiate are on their way back, and they could be in contention for this game. It'd be great to see Ryan Woodburn back. I'm a big fan of his. Ben Carter will be available. He served his suspension, so that's a boost. I can't see us. Well, we'll do predictions a bit, but everyone knows how terrible our away record is in general. But we haven't won in Swansea since 2010, when Talupe Faraday was man of the match and Di Flanagan was Ospreys fly half. That's how long ago. Now, if they were going to move any game to Bridgend, but Ospreys moving games to Bridgend. Yeah. Why couldn't they move this one? Because the last time we played Ospreys in Bridgend, we beat them. So this is the game that should have been moved to Bridgend. Exactly. But this is, it should have. They got the wrong game anyway. They should have moved this one, not the Cardiff one, to Bridgend. But
do you not want the extra motivation? The Dragons could win the Welsh Shield. The Park Hotel hubcap is within your grasp still. Also,
I don't see it.
Also, if you can at least deny him a bonus point, that at least gives Cardiff a chance at it. Because we'll take any shit silverware.
Don't be relying on us for favours, that's all I say. I am going to this game. I will be at the Solus.com Stadium for this one, so I am looking forward to it. And I hope there's a good crowd there, because I know Ospreys have pushed this fixture really hard. They're doing family tickets for 50 quid, which I think is really good value. And I'm sure we'll see Lance Bradley all over Twitter pushing and promoting this game. What are you doing on Saturday? Why aren't you at Swansea for this one and all that kind of stuff? So I hope it's a good atmosphere and they get a good crowd. But it's a Welsh derby. Who knows what can happen? But it probably won't involve a Dragons win, if I'm honest. So
Okay. Right. Harley, take us through predictions then, mate.
I haven't talked about the game yet.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Moving on.
No wonder I was in a good bit. Go on then, Bleaty boy, on you go.
The last all the games at the Ospreys and Dragons at the .com have all been massive try fests. They're always really good because they always get some reason. We always get the one in May or in May where it's sunny. No one really cares. So the last one I'm pretty sure was 37-18 or something. It was Alan Jones's last home game for the Ospreys. That was a good one. And that was where Jack Ross needed therapy. Then you had one before that, I believe, which was a Morgan Morris hat trick in that one. So they're always good games if you're not a Dragons fan, because they're really good family games. And what I like about the Dragons is they're really shit at buying ticket allocations. They don't sit with each other. So whenever the Scarlets come to town, they always sit in, or the majority of them sit in the West Stand. sort of at the top, near where the Ghost Choir used to sit. And then, but the Dragons like were all in front of me in the East Stand in the bottom tier, and they just all like spread themselves out across the thing, and then they were dotted around the West End as well. So they are always good laugh to come down. Hopefully the weather holds up, because I think this game in the sun is just a good laugh. I am somewhat confident that we can take points off Dragons here. I do just want the win. I think I'd love a bonus point, but I would just take the win. I've resigned myself to say that we can't finish in the top 8. People are saying 50 points might be enough depending on results in the weekend. I personally don't think it is, but when you look at the table, we're in 11th, right, and that looks quite bad. But the points is 15 points between us and Sharks. So if Sharks win both their next games with bonus points, it looks worse for the Ospreys. But if we win one of them, we basically finish 11th. We're basically the bottom of the table, and then the Sharks top their own mini table because the gap has been so big all season. So I think it will be a good, entertaining game. There's a chance to throw the ball around a bit. Say goodbye to some. We're hopefully going to get our leavers list this week. Mind you, last season's leavers list still hasn't been published.
Like I say, we didn't get one last season, did we?
Yeah.
Still waiting to hear what the contract status of Michael Collins is. But hope that apparently there is plans to do a leavers list. So we'll see. We will see.
Okie dokie. Harley, let's do some predictions, mate. You can do all
say,
this.
do you want a league update first?
Do what?
Because actually, Mark did you a solid.
Yeah, I know, but he like takes it seriously and stuff. So don't expect any of that shit from me. So
I'm sorry, you have done too many Scarlets by ones or draws to hedge your bets to say you don't take this seriously. You did bad.
Yeah, I also did Scarlets by 45 for 1 week as well. So let's keep it real.
Yeah, but that was when you had an 8% beer.
It probably was, to be honest.
Anyway, just quickly on the league table. So in terms of total points, basically, if you're closest to prediction, you get 4, 3 for second, 2 for third, 1 for fourth. So thanks to Mark. Lee has closed the gap on James from 7 to 2 points, but it's still in fourth place on 123. Then we've got James on 125. Big jump up to Jamie on 156, and Jamie is only 13 points behind me, so could overtake me this if he right. Actually, no, I don't think you can, but you'll get very close. There's still a chance you can win.
Stop teasing,
with me on a very mathematically pleasing 169 points, which I like because it's 13 squared, and I'm a nerd.
Oh. I knew it was the right decision to let Harley do this. Fucking hell. Right, go on, Harley. You do your predictions first, then, mate. Give the rest of us a
very
chance.
quick. I'm going to just quickly go through mine. So I've gone Zebra by 3, Ospreys by 8, and Sharks by 12. Lee, do you want me to read yours, or do you want to do yours and get some reasonings?
I'll do mine because I like the sound of my own voice. So I've got Scarlets by 8, Ospreys by 10, and Cardiff by 1. So they're mine.
We're doomed for like many point loss now. Who's next?
Go on, Jamie. You can go first.
So it's Zebra Scarlets, isn't it, on Friday?
Yep.
This is a game I would like both teams to lose, to be quite honest with you, because this is going to have repercussions for the Dragons. No, it will, because if Zebra win, they leapfrog the Dragons. We're rock bottom then. And we might not recover from that. So, and then on the other hand, if Scarlets win, but they sort of pulled away from us a little bit, and it looks unlikely then the Dragons could overtake them, and we'll enter bottom Welsh region again. So if it's a draw or both teams lose, that'd be great. But I am going to go for Scarlets win. I think they'll win by 6 points. What's the next game? Is it Cardiff?
It's
know.
Ospreys
It's a-
Dragons,
it's a-
but if you want to do the Cardiff game first, you can.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? 'Cause it's like you guys were saying, what team are they going to put out the Sharks? You know, are they going to rest those players for
And
that
Cardiff are
European
unbeaten
final or
against the
not?
Sharks.
They are, but they have got injury issues, and they particularly at scrum half, as you said.
Yeah.
Do you remember last season when Cardiff played the Sharks last season? Away in
No,
South Africa.
what was the score?
I can't remember.
I could genuinely see it being a reverse this year.
I tell you what is interesting, right? I'm not saying this to have a dig, but if Cardiff do lose this, that'll be 11 consecutive defeats. That will equal their record, because I looked it up on Cardiff's website. So that the record for most consecutive defeats is 11. If they lose against the Sharks, that will equal their record. So
and then we lose on Judgment Day, so it will be a new record. See, trend setting, like making records this season.
Okay, I'm going to go Sharks by 6. I think they'll just about edge it. But like I said, it's difficult to know when we don't know what kind of team Sharks going to put out. And then the Welsh Derby Saturday. Well, look, I do like the Ospreys. And I would like them to make the playoffs. But I would
Not
also
that
like to
much.
beat them as well. I would like us to do the double over them as well. No, I would. Yeah, I can't see that happening. I think Ospreys would be too powerful for us. We've got to do what we haven't done pretty much all season, is put in an 80-minute performance. And like I said, our away form is absolutely shocking. So for me, there's only going to be one winner here. I'm going to go Ospreys by 14. And those are my predictions.
Okie-dokie.
What do you
Sorry, I
think,
just see a fantastic tweet about me. That says,
Which one
the
is
Ospreys the Ospreys won't be playing out my back garden next season or any season after that. Instead, I intend to focus on growing my rhubarb, weed and patio barbecues. It really is all happening at my house. Oh, that's got me in tears. Fuck, you know. Right, Zebra Scarlets. What was the injury front leg for Scarlets on the weekend?
Tupelo kind of limped a little bit, but he said it was cramp and he is fit. Other than that,
Are you expecting Fafita, Craig, and Lousy to be back? Or?
Yep, all three of them
right,
back.
that changes things then. So that Zebra by 3. It was Zebra by
please
more.
tell me what were you going to predict if they weren't back?
It was Zebra by 8.
They always one hot try.
No, I'm going to go I'll go Scarlets by 6 as well. I think that this will be an awful game. I actually think it'd be quite similar to Cardiff's draw out there earlier in the season, where you might do some like fancy shit. Costello might do some nice stuff, whatever, and then you'll just let in some stupid tries. Like it has that vibe all over it, I think.
I'm not sure who he's trying to insult here, Harley, me or you.
Harley will agree with me.
I'm
They
struggling.
did,
I mean, we were lucky to get a draw.
yeah. Because Cardiff scored some mad tries that game, and then let in like the softest, like under 14s, can't be asked, business decision vibes.
Yeah, that was our defence for a lot of this season.
Then we go on to Sharks versus Cardiff. I'm going to go Cardiff by 35.
No, you said it now. It's going in.
Yeah, it's in there. It's in there.
First answers only.
No, I think Sharks will rest a few, and I'm going to say I will say Sharks by about 12, but it'll be it'll feel closer. So Sharks by 12. And the Ospreys versus Dragons, I will go Ospreys by 7.
Well, I'll take that.
17,
Bonus
got
point,
it.
losing bonus point, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
That'd be good
nice.
to
I do like the Dragons, really. Because we're proper
That's
regions,
nice, yeah.
not like them standalone bastards.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So let's quickly run down anything that we've got coming up on the feeder pods this week. Jamie, have you got anything anywhere close to Brock Harris this week, mate?
No, but we are hoping to speak to somebody from New Tredegar, RFC, to have a chat about them because they've been expelled from the leagues recently, so we will have a chat to them about their rebuild and the state of the community game in Wales, find out what the problems are in community rugby. So that could be interesting. And of course, we'll round up the latest news and preview our trip to Swansea. So yeah, looking forward to that one.
Cool. Okay, Harley, have
Mike,
you got
am
anything?
I on this? Am I on that pod this week?
No, you're not. Sauce.
I just thought you
Please,
wanted,
sir. Please, sir. Can I be on your podcast this week?
fine. I'm asking. I'm asking
James, you want all the
Maybe
podcasts
another
now. You've
time.
been off for a
I'm asking
couple of
Dino
weeks.
to come on my pod.
Harley,
Jamie gets that.
Harley, what have you got coming up on Cardiff Central this week, mate?
I imagine a lot of swearing, and Carwyn has promised he has prepared a hell of a rant about Cardiff kicking for goal, which is why I didn't touch on it tonight.
That'll be excellent. Carwyn does do a good rant. When
He
he goes
does.
off on one, he proper.
I know,
goes
I'm
off
thinking
on
about
one.
making it an official segment. Because
He's
there's
not in the
always
BBC
something he wants to
anymore.
rant about.
It's because he doesn't wait for the BBC.
Yeah,
He doesn't anymore.
no.
That's
Sport
actually
in Wales now.
Yeah.
Mm. James, what have you got coming up on Ospreys IRA this week, mate?
Because I haven't even kept up with them bastards.
It'll be good player, won't it?
Yes. No, so we're not planning on talking about the game much, if I'm honest.
Convenience.
Surprisingly.
Why is that?
Instead, we're going to actually spawned out of mine and Jamie's Twitter interaction earlier about kits. We might go back and look at some Dragons Ospreys games and kits as well, because both have had some. I think both are definitely the more flamboyant two. You know, you two don't tend to stray far from your regular stuff. So I think me and Jamie, Ospreys and
mess with
Dragons definitely have
perfection,
more
James.
flame.
You two just end up copying each other and having the same kits at every season.
Perfection.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, it's hard to know the two.
You can't talk. You had that Tequila Sunrise kit a couple of years ago, and it made me
I liked
vomit.
it. I liked
Exactly.
it. I thought,
That says it all.
It kind of had a little bit of spice about it.
All I'm saying is, nothing is more beautiful image than peak. Nothing more than Jonah Lomu.
You're right.
Be my baby.
Yeah.
I thought he glitched then. Harley's
Yeah.
glitching.
And he went, "No, I can't say that. That's shit. Right, I'm going to say
Much
something else.
like Cardiff season, he's stuttering.
I don't care. He was in the promos and he looked fantastic in that baby pink jersey with "Be My Baby" across the front.
Well, I did revel in the fact that Philo TNT had gone back to another team that were black and gold, because he looked good in that black and gold kit for the Ospreys. Oh, them dreads.
Do you remember when Dragons had Discount Tires as their sponsor and you looked like a dildo? It actually looked like you had a dildo on those shirts. Discount Tires, look it up. That was one of my favourite ones.
My grandfather has quite bad eyesight, so when we had the BT sponsorship, he was just like, "Why have we got a disco ball as a sponsorship?" You couldn't see like my kit like 5 meters away from him. I was like, "It's BT, Granddad. Like, come on, sort it out."
All right, so
on that note,
yeah. So on Scarlet, I've just had a message from the boys. Martin can't find a signal.
really,
It's a
that does surprise
surprise.
me. Fucking hell!
So
Sorry,
in
Martin.
Cornwall.
yeah,
No,
he's
he's gone
in
to
he's in
Barb's or something,
Turkey
hasn't he?
this week. So as a taster, so James, you get to. So I'm gonna have to do this now. I was gonna do it like on here and do one each, but now I'm gonna have to do it on Scarlet's Fever. So you get to choose this shit dad joke, okay? So tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Fucking hell, that was shit, James. Right, Jamie, tell me when to stop. Oh fucking hell, boys, come on, Harley.
Come on.
You didn't give me a
Right.
chance.
Stop.
Right, there we go.
Stop.
We'll do it there. Right. So shit dad joke. The worst bar I ever went to was called the Fiddle. It was a violin. Fucking hell. More of those
It's
on.
fucking shit to their fair play. That was absolutely.
Okay, yeah, but look how many I've got to get through. I had it for Christmas. I
And
get
I
through all
thought
of
you'd give
those.
it. I thought you were bowing out disgracefully of Scarlet's Fever.
I was, but then the boys have just gone, oh, well, there's only two of us there, and neither of us want to present. So
What do you mean?
I'm
Hugh
gonna,
does loads of presenting now. He does
I
like
know.
50 million podcasts.
You
a
know
week.
what he's like. But I'm gonna
Yes, true.
I'm gonna switch my camera off and have my tea while they're talking. That's what I'm gonna do. Right, boys. Thank you very much. It was really easy tonight to be depressed and down about last weekend. It would have been really easy to sit there and slag us off, slag our teams off, and all that kind of stuff. But when we finish, I just want to kind of remind people of some stuff. So obviously, I've been doing my psychology degree and all of this kind of stuff, and I've studied a lot about sports people and sports mentality and things like this. And there was a case of a guy somewhere in Australia, and I can't remember if he was an Aussie rules player or a rugby union player or whatever. He was an Australian sportsman who took a lot of what was said about him to heart on social media, in newspapers, and this, that, and the, and he kind of went down that dive, down and down and down and down and dive, and it ended up in the worst possible place that it could end up in. So when even when it's shit, even when it's like we all got pummeled this weekend, we all got taken to task, it's still just a game. It's still just 15 men running around in little boys' shorts playing with balls for 80 minutes on a Saturday afternoon or whatever. And sometimes we just need to remember that fact that, you know, nobody's going out on that pitch on a Saturday afternoon or Friday night or whatever to play a shit game. They're going out and they're doing their best. So when we are putting comments on social media or on pods like this or whatever, just remember that there is somebody at the other end of that comment, because you do not want to be the person sitting there thinking, was that comment that I made on Twitter last week part of the reason why that guy has ended up where he's ended up? So, you know, thank you for tonight, gents, because it would have been really easy to get down and miserable and depressed and all that kind of stuff. And we didn't. We kept it going. So 2 weeks left, 2 games left.
Listen, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, won't you?
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. This is what Welsh Rugby is going to be like, unfortunately. But we've got to look on the bright side, haven't we?
Absolutely. And on that note, thank you very much for your time again, gents. Pleasure as always. I shall see you next week. We shall do the same thing once again. All the best. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.